So, let me see here. Share screen. Da, 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 da. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Let's see this.
I'm gonna uh hide that just because. All right. So, I want to start off with, did Tony, and I didn't see it come through on the chat, but I wanted Tony to share the Nikola article that he I don't even know if it was an article. It looked like it was just um and if he didn't share it, I'll share it after we get off the call. But there's a ton of stuff that's going on about the Nikola and his and I'm gonna go to play since a lot of people got that. Um, the guy, he basically done got General Motors on board,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched that video. You all, I watched that video. He was on there with the one of the directors of GM, and his mannerisms is what I was like. It kind of scared me. The looking down all the time, the kind of looking off to the left and all that, not really commenting a whole lot. And so what Tony sent me kind of solidified what I was thinking. And I'm like, man, this guy may be tricking them into something because now he doesn't have a battery. All of a sudden, like his version of the electric battery is null and void. And so now he's utilizing the infrastructure that GM already had in place to put in his vehicle. And I'm thinking, that's bad. And the price reflection has started. I think this article that Tony sent out is kind of making it around. People are kind of hopping off the Nikola train as we speak. So anybody got that? Just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it and watch it. I mean, just the general fact that GM picked it up will kind of keep it afloat, because at some point General Motors will probably just buy him out, and that'll probably what it end up happening instead of them letting and let him just ride off into the sunset and take his name, and they basically compete with Tesla mano a mano without him. But just keep an eye on that Nikola. I would probably go to Shield or Workhorse and see what Nikola does. I know a lot of people had it, but a lot of things coming out about him that concerns me. Especially his mannerism when one of the biggest announcements that they could have made in his mannerism. He didn't even dress up for it. That was the other thing. He had on like what looks like to me like a sweatshirt, sitting in a back office type of situation. Kind of, it's like, hey, it's a big deal, and you didn't even gear up for the occasion. So if you're in that Nikola, just kind of be careful.
Is that the Hindenburg research?
Yeah.
The Hindenburg research.
Hindenburg.
Yeah. Did everybody read that?
Yeah.
Hey, Keith,
Actually, he's going to rebuttal. He said he's going to rebuttal, but it's going to have to be extensive because, and then Hindenburg said it was taken out of context. Have you seen that recently?
I did not.
Like a biggest fraud, such and such or whatever. And then they double back. Hindenburg doubled back and said that article was taken kind of out of context. And even Trevor said, give him a day, and he was going to address item line by line and he said cowards run, and has some quote, leaders stay and fight, blah blah blah, whatever. But you know, that's just Trevor, man, and I'm just gonna let the dust settle. We're gonna see what happens.
Okay.
But that whole
Yeah.
battery thing, that was surprising to me. Yeah, the battery deal.
Yeah, because I was like, now they not using your technology. They using the technology they had already.
Right.
And so even some of the commentary on TV, who most of these guys got economic degrees and all that good stuff, right? They were saying basically, okay, GM gonna merge with them. And the good thing about all of this though is GM does own 11% of Nikola now. So that was good, right? So that's what I wanted to hear that, number one. I wasn't expecting the whole battery thing, but then a couple of commentators off MSNBC was basically saying, CNBC basically was saying, hey, what is Nikola bringing to the table then? If you're using GM's battery, what are you bringing to the table? Because the technology is what they wanted, but they end up having to use their own technology. So it's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna use my own battery, I can make a truck. I've been making trucks for years. Like, I don't need your version of a truck. Like, so I just say, just kind of be careful there. So what I wanted to kind of talk about today was trapping the price. So something that I really couldn't go into a lot of detail of is what I'll talk about second, and that's cost basis, because I know a lot of times like the cost I hear, and that's why I ask questions around the room. Hey, what is everybody putting his stock back at, doing the contract from the put side to the call side, or vice versa? Where you at? So we're gonna just talk through basically a little math, so we can kind of get an idea of where your mind is, and maybe convince you to do something different. So I'm gonna use play the entire time to talk about trapping the price, well, smothering the price, trap the price, and a little cost basis math. So, and I'll probably be on this options chain for the most part. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we all know about calls and we all know about puts, right? We that far along, right? We all know everybody got their own strategy on how they want to do things based on the money that they have in the market. One of the guys that I talked to on Wednesday, the conversation came up about trapping the price. So I kind of know about trapping the price, but I wanted him to kind of go into kind of a little bit of detail about trapping the price. So a few things that I had picked up on was, so after market trading, he utilizes the aftermarket drop or the aftermarket the push, the stock price moving up. So in this case, you got Dave and Buster's, right? So they closed out at 1768, and after market they are at 1803. So in this case, this is a move that he would kind of make, right? So he would basically, in the aftermarket, he would go in and buy the shares, right? So he would go in and he will be buying shares at this 1803 price, because that's all he can do, right? He can't do any options trading after the market close. So what he does is he'll pick out of his watch list, he'll pick the ones that go down or up based on, like, if it's Apple, he don't care which direction it goes. But in something like play, if it goes down, it's good. If it goes up, it's still good, because the whole object is we're going to trap the price, meaning tomorrow morning, it don't matter what it does, we're going to trap the moment. So he would go in and get his 100 shares, because you got to buy them in 100 share lots, right? We all know that much. So he would go in and get his 100 shares at say 18, right? And so what he would come in and do first thing in the morning, and sometime, so tip 20% of the time he'll do it in the morning. 80% of the time he'll try to catch it at like 250, right before the market closed, within 10-minute window. So what he does is he'll come in here, he'll buy it either at the close or after the market at the value.
You don't see your screen.
You don't?
You see the TD Ameritrade.
Okay, there you go. Can you see it?
There you go.
Mhm.
All
The
right.
option screen.
Okay, cute. All right. All right. So typically he would come in here before the market close or after market and purchase his 100 shares. It's based on just what he does. Like there's no wrong or there's no right to this, but typically he'll try to catch it on a down day, especially to get his 100 shares, and he'll come in and this is where the magic happens. So he comes in, he'll get his 100 shares at 18 before the market close. He traps in, so he's got it at 18. He'll come in and he'll set this at like say 19. He'll do a call. He'll do a call option. It's called a protective collar. So what he'll do is he will sell this 19 strike. He would immediately go over here and buy the 18 strike. So what he has done is, no matter what happens, he is going to profit from this trade. And I hope that you all see this, right? So if the stock moves up from 18 to 19, he still gains the 110 plus $100 of appreciation value from 18 to 19. If the stock goes down $2, $3, $4, he's also protected over here, because the further the stock go down, the more he makes over here. The further the stock goes down, the more this becomes in the money. And so you go from 160 to 195 to 230 to 295. So no matter what happens with the stock, he's gonna profit either way. Does everybody see that?
Yeah, so you don't have to do, again, like a margin account of any sort to be able to do this.
So that's the one thing, Jeanette, that's the problem. Like you do have to have a margin account in order to do a spread. And so that was one of my things. I got it wrote down right here. Is I was like, hey, does Charles Schwab require you to do that? Because what I didn't want to happen is, okay, we say, okay, well, if it's a very profitable trade, but I'm like, we shouldn't have to move to a different broker to do this. If we could maybe get clearance through TD Ameritrade, seeing that we're all probably going to be Charles Schwab here in any minute anyway. So currently today, Jeanette, to answer your question, yes.
Question on that. You're gonna you buying a put and you're buying a call?
Nope. You're gonna sell a call and you're gonna buy. Huh?
You selling the call against your shares?
Yep.
Okay.
So what you're gonna do is, and typically, like I said, 80% of this is done on a down day. So what he'll do is on a down day, but on a good stock, right? So we all know you by now we all know what play fundamental analysis is, right? We've been in it long enough to understand, like Gerald and Jeanette, when they first got in March, Keith, I don't think you were involved at that time, but Gerald and Jeanette was playing around in this, man, when it was $9 and $10. Because of the fundamental analysis, right? We knew that the stock was going to go up due to the fact that the 52-week high was at like $52. So it wasn't a matter of, you know, being in a bad company. Dave and Buster's have good earnings per share. They got good volume. A pretty good company to be involved in. And so what I wanted to show you all is too, outside of that, is really understanding volume, which is here, versus open interest, which is here. So Keith, I know I spoke about this a few times, and it may have, you know, went over a lot of people's head, because trying to understand it all and grasp it all right comes with time. So just want to say, hey, when you talk about volume, this is just the contracts that people have placed during the day, right? So volume that's the activity of that day right there. So Thursday, this is Thursday's volume. When you talk about open interest is the contracts that are still open at that particular strike price. So you can tell right now you have a lot of people in play, because you have a lot of people in play, and then you have a lot of people in play that want to keep the shares because they know about the 52-week high because of this number right here. A lot of people that have these shares, they don't want to give them back. They want to make whatever they can until this thing goes back. So you have 1,308 contracts out here at $20. You have 254 contracts out here at $19. And so these people right here, these are people that kind of say, you know what, I've made enough money off play. I want to maybe go get Apple. And so they'll come into money a little bit, and and that's the next conversation is going to be cost basis, what I'll go into, because they've made so much money off play, they can afford to dump play at whatever price they set. They don't typically just say, hey, so right here, you got some people that's in it for the long haul. And right here, you got some people that say, hey, I want to move on to something else that may be more prosperous for them at the moment. But the key goal is, for the sake of this conversation, is this is how you trap the price. So no matter what it does, you cannot lose, no matter what it does. Is basically you're going to buy the shares at the 1803. You're going to come in here. You're going to sell it at the money. This is at the money. 18.5, 19.20 is at the money. 18, 17.5, 17 is in the money on the call side. Vice versa, on the put side, this is in the money. These prices are in the money. These are at the money. But to trap the price, you want to grab it, sell a call, buy a put. And at that moment right there, that stock can't do anything without you gaining profit. And that's just the strategy, right? So, and I told you all way up front in the beginning, as you grow, your strategy will not be like mine. It won't be like, you know, Dennis will have a different one from Gerald and Jeanette. Gerald and Jeanette will be different from Chuck. But what we continue to do is share what we are doing, right? So that it gives a person opportunity to kind of look at a stock that they may not have been looking at before, to maybe make a better decision for them. So the texting community that we got going on right now has been beneficial. It's been beneficial to me. I know. I mean, I like that. I'm hoping that it's been beneficial to you all as well. So when we trap a price, that's exactly that. And they have a saying, and I probably have only said this one time. When in doubt, split them out. So what I have been doing a lot of lately is splitting them out, right? So I'm going to speak on behalf of Gerald and Jeanette for this conversation. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this 15-day, right? So I know this is 8 days away, right? But what is my goal? What is my monthly goal, right? So if my monthly goal is $4,000, right? I wanna leverage everything I got to make $4,000 this month. So it's a monthly goal, not a weekly goal. And I go, okay, let me look at 15 day. So if I'm owning the shares, right, I can still do the same thing, right? I can come in here, buy these shares, sell this call, buy this put. At that very moment, now I got 2 weeks. That stock can't do nothing without paying me something. Especially if I'm, and some investors or long-term investors, they're not weekly investors, they're not monthly investors. Some investors are long-term investors. So this is a strategy that may work for them for long term. You know, I watched the video, and in the video, the guy said that he did this strategy and he had 15 contracts and where is it at? Oh, 15 contracts of Rocket Mortgage. Now, I wasn't aware of what Rocket Mortgage had done and all the companies that they had assumed. But when I hear people talk, I hear them saying 10 and 15 contracts, right? Which makes sense. Like, and he's talking about, hey, I did all of that for a $4,000 a month. Having a $4,000 month is good. I know when we first come in, it's kind of difficult because we all like, you know, you have a $500 week, and then at some point in your life, $500 don't become good enough. And I understand it, right? We all like, you know what? We're gonna push the pedal to the metal, and because now you know the significance of having money in the market, right? And people that have the know and the money at the same time, those are the people that benefit from doing this. And so there's so many strategies, there's so many things you can do. And as you grow, you'll start doing this without even knowing that you're doing it. But I do notice, Jeanette, a way around having that margin account is to do it separate.
Yeah,
So if
right.
you sold the call by itself and then sold a put by itself, you don't need a margin.
Right.
Ah,
That's what I was trying to get to.
but are you spending more? Well,
So
Is it?
good question, Jeanette. I like where you're going. Hold on, I'm trying to get my screen back together, y'all. Okay. All right. Crap. Let me go back here. Good question, Jeanette. And let me see here. All right. Can everybody see that option chain, or did I?
you're good.
Okay. All right. So good question. So the only thing that's different, Jeanette, is the fact that you're going to pay 65 cents both ways. When those collars and what Sabrina showed everybody on the call, you only pay that 165 cents. When you break them out, the only thing is you pay 265 cents. So somebody may say, well, I only want to pay 165 cents, but that's the difference. You'll pay the 65 cents for the call, and you'll pay 65 cents for the put. That's the difference. So you can absolutely do a price lock, but you'll be paying, you know, the $1.30 to do the total transaction. This was big, like for so what I did, and I'm coming back to play though, because I wanted to really dig into play, because there's you and Gerald and Dennis. I don't know if Chuck is in it, but you and Gerald and Dennis are in the driver's seat in this play situation. So, and that's why I'm gonna talk through this, ask and let you all ask questions, and then I'm gonna go to cost basis so you can really do the math on where you could possibly place your trade going forward. But I want to show you all this. I can do this. A good trap. Like in this case, this trap is so good because the put is lower than the call in this situation. So with Apple, I'm gonna sell a 390 call, and I'm gonna buy a 375 put. So there's a $15 difference there that you will gain, unlike play where the put was higher than the call, where it's not a credit spread, so to speak. It would be a debit spread. In this case, somebody's going to come in here. And when I tell you about volume and what people want to do, there's 108,000 contracts out there, right? So I'm going to say this again. The volume this is how many trades were gone in and out of in one day for this 110 strike on Apple. 7,555 transactions in one day. That's just today. Out of that, there's 23,000 open contracts at the 110 strike. At the 112 strike, there's 108,000 contracts out there right now, meaning somebody has a call. I mean, somebody has sold a contract and somebody has bought a contract. But collectively, there's 108,000 of those still open. This is just the volume for the day. This volume number will change tomorrow morning. And if you check it at noon, it'll be different. If you check it at 3 o'clock, it'll be different. But this number here, this number only changes once a day. This number changes every day. This number changes once a day. Every day, once a day. A guy come in here, he's got his $11,375. He's gonna come in here, he's gonna, a down day. He's gonna come in and grab, so the ask price 114.38. He's gonna come in here and grab his 100 shares. He's gonna do his 390. He's gonna pay the 375. And no matter what the stock does, he is going to benefit. In this case, I wouldn't trap on the call side right here because it's so volatile, right? We look at these numbers, we know that it's very volatile. So we want to come down here, but then that changes the dynamic of the trade. Now the put is lower. The put now is higher than the call. But we okay with that because if Apple goes down, we gain. If Apple goes up, we gain from the 114 that way we bought it to the 116. So that's $200 that we gain. And if it goes down, we gain. So we're in a win-win, right? So you have to, and I waited to now to talk about this because you really have to know what a call is and what a put is to even know what I'm even talking about here, right? So, and that's just called, it's just trapping the price. You trapping the price. And some people may even go here, or some people may do what they say, follow the smart money. There's 26, let me see, I gotta move you all over here. So yeah, right here, there's 113,000 contracts out here that say basically the price is gonna be above 112 at the expiration date. So you'll come in here and set that price right there. And if it goes down, then you start moving into these numbers and these numbers and these numbers. And you're okay with that because either way you win. Either way. There's no losing to that. And it's just you're just trapping the price.
But you got to buy them first.
You gotta have 100 shares first in order to do it, and that's the other downside to not having a margin account. Because if you had a margin account, then it wouldn't cost you the 11,375. It'd just be whatever the difference is between the option. I mean, the call and the put, and that's the other downside is having all of the collateral at once. But I know, Keith, you may be able to speak to this, or do you have a margin account?
I don't,
You don't?
no, I don't.
Okay.
But I was able to buy a putt though, like you said.
Yeah. And so the spreads, that's the only thing. It's like you go to do spread trading, you don't need all the collateral, but then they want you to have this margin account, which is, some people don't like that. Like, I know I don't. I've been warned by plenty of people to stay away from that margin account because you may interfere with other money that you have to owe and all that. I'm like, I don't. That's just, to me, I understand it, but it's just too complicated of a situation that I choose not to worry myself with. So, and that's basically how people trap prices, and they'll do it. Like, if you look at this, they got, what is this? 736 days out. People are coming in on a down day now, buying these leaps way out here, 736. Now, by the year 2022, anybody think Apple's still gonna be trading at 115? Absolutely not. I said that a couple weeks ago. Don't outsmart yourself. Apple market cap is like $2 trillion. They got a lot of room to grow, and there's been talks out there, and it could be what Donald Trump's call it fake news, but what Apple could buy Tesla a couple times over. What if Apple's not merged, but maybe took a stake into Tesla and sold their intelligence to Tesla inside the vehicle? What would that do to an Apple stock? I mean, is that something that may happen in 2 years? A lot of these people say, I'm willing to bet, a few dollars on it. A lot of people, we have like realistic conversations where people say, I showed you all a couple weeks ago how you can sell enough put contracts to get the capital to buy a call contract, and that's what the professionals do. They will sell enough put contracts and then buy a call contract. That also traps the price. So the trapping the price happens two ways, right? So I'm gonna go back up. If I had say 3 puts here and I came down here, so I'm locking the price in. I want everybody to see this. So I'm doing the 116, right? I'm saying that the stock gonna be above 116, and then I'm coming down here saying, hey, I got 736 days for it to expire, but I'm also saying, hey, I got a 115, so even if it moves above me, keep going. I got 736 days before I make a decision on what I want to do with it. But what I'm doing is trapping the moment. I'm trapping right now. And if you get a down day, that's when you trap it. Like, you can go in and you can single-handedly trap it. And that's the conversation I had with my Asian buddy, is without doing the put and the call, you can trap it just simply by buying a leap. And he kind of agreed with me, but you can trap a price just by buying a leap. It's just, this is a hey, I want my money this week. This is, hey, I got time. Like, I'll take my income tax check. Anybody, any young person out there that's getting $2,500 back, this will be the best investment they ever made. Cost you $2,560 in 2 years, right? We talking September the 16th, 2022. This could be $10,000. This could be $15,000. And when you start selling options, though, you just get so used to that weekly premium, you kind of like lose the whole reason why you're investing. And so that's why we have these calls, right? Because that happened to me. Like it will happen. Like you'll get so used to making 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 a month. You be like, I want to do this. But then in a month's time, Apple will be up to 135, 136, and then you go, damn, I could have had it at 115. So when you talk about trapping the price, that's exactly, it's so many ways you can do it. I just wanted to show you a way that, another, well, not just him, he's probably got 2,000 people that he speak to on Mondays. So he's showing this very same thing. So on the Wednesday call, I was just saying, hey, I told you all about the leaps. It does the same thing. This gives you 736 days for this stock to go as high as it can go. You're going to benefit from it wholeheartedly. Some people, let me see if I can find something with like 10,000 in it. Oh, that's 50 days. That's why. Let me see. 4,000, 2,000, 4,000. And I check this on a regular because I try to see where to go in. And so a lot of people seem to like this June 18th, 2021. And they're paying 16. And so what they do is if they got $2,500, and I'll tell you why people choose these other months. A person that's got $2,500, they try to figure out how they can get two of these. And so they'll go try to find a month where they can do the price to match what they got as far as capital. So when like right now, this is almost cut in half of the 736 days. So people kind of look at that. So you'll take $1,600 and so now you're in a situation with a small account to where you can benefit from a good stock without having to do the day-to-day work of watching your weekly options or your bi-weekly option trades. So does anybody have any questions about trapping the price? Like everybody kind of feel, and I'll talk about this again next week, trapping these prices. Like you can benefit from trapping these prices in good companies though. Not like some companies, you have to understand early on, we talked about scalability, right? How do these companies grow? Like Dave & Buster's can grow by just building more facilities and selling memberships and merchandise and throwing parties. And I mean, there's a lot of ways they can grow. You don't want to get trapped in companies that really have no growth. Like they're hot right now, but after they're hot, they're gone, right? Because they can't grow. Like with Zoom is good. Zoom has done great, right? We all wish that we would have got in Zoom and we're using it. And none of us got in it. I think maybe Jeanette or Carmisha may have threw that out there. I would say 2 months ago, maybe. Those are like Zoom. This is all Zoom has though. Like, so when people stop using Zoom, is there anything else out there other than Cisco WebEx? So is Zoom a hold? Is Zoom a long-term deal? And those are all the things that you ask yourself before you hand over your cash. So does anybody have any questions about trapping prices?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go back to play for a second. Because I want to dial into cost basis. So let me change this because I need to go back. All right. So and I may need some participation in this, Jeanette, but not to get personal, but
Okay.
for the team. So when you got played, you and Gerald were at what, 19?
Yes.
Okay, I'm writing this down. So you were at 19, and how many contracts? Eight?
Yes.
Eight contracts. Okay, I'm just doing the math here. Eight contracts, and um,
Now we did 19 and 20 at that time, so it's like maybe 4 at one or 4 at the other, something like that.
okay. So we'll do this. We'll just take 20. We'll take the higher.
Okay.
We'll take the higher one. And so you got strike at your strike price was 20. You got eight contracts. We'll just say they were all at 20. And so what did you receive at the time that you when you had first initiated the contracts? Do you know what price you were at?
Wow, I want to say I'm looking at my positions now.
As far as our payout,
What premiums did you receive when you did the contract?
right? It was roughly like 1,100, something like that.
Like 1,400, I believe.
1,400 total. I'm gonna divide that by 8. Okay, let me see here. 1,400 divided by 8. So basically, you received about 175 per contract.
Yeah.
All right, 175. $175 per contract equals $1,400. Okay. All right. So, and I'm gonna assume that was at least 30 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, in this case, Jeanette and Gerald collected $1,400 for 8 contracts at a 20 strike, right? So then we all know what happened. The price went back down to like 15, 14, 15 or whatever. So Gerald and Jeanette, did you all do, because I'm adding this all up, did you all collect like $5 or $10 every week, every other week
Yes.
per contract? So I'm gonna just say this all happened 6 weeks ago.
Yes.
6 weeks ago, and you collected, say, $10 every week times 8. So that's 10 times 8. That's $80 times 6 weeks. Okay. All right. So you collected another $480, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So all in, you have collected $1,880 in premium. Okay. So let me divide that 1,800 divided by so we're at $1,800. Okay. And so looking at that scenario and looking at the current situation, so are you all in this week with play at all?
Yeah. It's hopefully it expires on the call side.
Okay, what strike price did you take, G?
I'm at 20.
You were at 20, and it was. I'm sure it wasn't at 45 then. It was. Do you know what price that was at? Because
Yep.
we got to add that to this total here.
It was $90 a contract.
$90 times 8.
720.
Yep.
So another $720. Okay. So now I'm gonna just rattle this back off. So Gerald and Jeanette bought 8 contracts at the 20 strike 6 weeks ago at $175 a piece. For 6 weeks, they collected $10 per contract times
Six.
8 contracts times $10 times 6 weeks. That was $480. This current week they also collected another $720, which puts them at $2,520. Now, if it doesn't get called away, if it's at 20 and I think the price is trading at 1803, if it doesn't get called away, the new cost basis is going to be, even though it was put to them at $20,
18, 17, high, something.
Yep, the new cost basis is really $17. So when someone says, "Hey, why do you have these contracts?" and I'm only saying that to say this, and people have asked over time, why do we have these contracts here in the money? Like, why are people just willing to give up their stock like that? It's because they know what their cost basis is, and they're not losing a dime by putting this at $17.50 and collecting $165, because they're gonna collect $165 times 8 again, and so that's 8 days out. So even at this price right here, so Gerald just said, "Hey, we collected $90 at 8 times, but now this is going to change tomorrow morning. We all know that from trading. This may be $35 tomorrow." So if Gerald said, "Hey, you know what? I've collected 720, and say this falls, the 20 strike that he's got to buy it back falls to 35. That's going to be 35 times 8 contracts. He's going to buy it back for $280, right? So he got 720 to put the contract out there. He's going to pay back 280, but he's only going to buy it back to move out a week, right? So I'm only going to buy it back if I'm going to move out. If I'm not going to move out of it, then I might as well stick with it, right? Because it looks like I'm $2 away and may expire worthless. But because the price is where it's at, I basically haven't lost a dime until it exceeds the $17, because that's my, well, this is my cost basis. So after all the smoke clears, I could sell this at 17 and not lose any money. But we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to run from it unless you want to move out of it and move into something like, hey, we can take this money and move into Apple. We can take this money, but have a plan for it. Like, don't just close out something and don't have a plan for it. If you're going to close it out, move it to the next week. Like we leap hop, right? And so even if you did 4 contracts next week and 4 contracts, the week after, just try to leapfrog your weeks, because we're going to look at the 20 strike 2 weeks from now. We're going to look at it 1 week and then 2 weeks from now. So the 20 strike right now is paying $80. But Gerald can come in here at 18. If he buy it back, if Gerald and Jeanette goes in and spend the 280 to get it back tomorrow around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, before the market end, they could dive in here at 18. It was put to them at 20, but the price basis is 17. They can sell it at 18 and still make the 155 times 8 for next week.
155 times 4.
You don't have to necessarily go dollar for dollar, because you collected, and Gerald and Jeanette collected $1,800 when it was put to them. So they was already $1,800 below the strike price when it got put to them. So then, as the price started going back, they was doing their due diligence, right? They stuck it out, they fought it out, right? So they deserve the reward when it comes back, when the retracement happens. For 6 weeks, they said they took their little $10, right? They didn't panic. They didn't run. They took their little lumps on the head. They took their little $10 and they kept it moving. But now they're in the full driver's seat. They can come here and sell it at 155, 165. They haven't lost anything. Like they're only going to gain 165 times 8 or 155 times 8. They got 175 times 8 when they got it. So they're in the driver's seat. So the more you collect, the lower your price basis go. Because this is the deal. So at, let me see, total investment. So all in all, I'll just go 20 strike times 20 strike times 800. So all in all, Gerald and Jeanette is in this thing for 16,000 total, but they've already collected 2,520 of that. So you deduct, so you minus the 2,500, 2,520.
That's your new price basis.
Now, basically, Gerald, I'm wrong. The price basis is way back here at 13,480.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But the more they collect, the lower that number gets. Because basically, once Gerald and Jeanette collect $16,000, then their price basis is zero. So if Gerald and Jeanette just kept this and just kept selling these 20, 20, 20, 22, and just keep moving them out, they'll be done collecting $16,000 on a $16,000 investment. And when you know your cost basis, it helps you make a better decision. You don't even have to run from it, right? You just collect the money. They can spend 280, right? Get a 280 back. So if you got 720 minus 280, 400. They've made $440 on just this one deal. They can go out to next week before Friday expires and collect them another, move it back out to 20. So you're going to do another 80. 80 times 8. They're going to pay back the 240 to collect another 640. And if they collect another 640, then now the 2520, you have to deduct you have to deduct what you bought it back for. Hold on, let's see. 35 times 8. The 280, so you deduct the 280 here, and I'm doing the math. So what they've gained off of play so far is $2,240, and that's with buying it back. So then they say, well, Friday, if the price go down a little bit more, hey, I'm gonna buy it back for the 280, and then I'm gonna move it out to the very next week before the week expire. Hell, they can put it at, now that they know their cost basis, they can put it back at 18. You don't have to say, well, it got put to me at 20. I get that, but you've collected so much money. 20 is not your cost basis anymore. You can put it out here at 18 and collect 155 a contract. So say we put it out there, say we're not even gonna be greedy, right? We're gonna do 18.5. We'll put it out there at 18.5, collect 130 times 8. That's 1,000. 130 times 8. We're gonna collect another $1,040 tomorrow. Put that with our 2,240. So I'm gonna add that up. That's another 140. That's a $3,280. And play can just ride out till I get my $16,000 in premium, and now I'm good. I can hold on to play forever because I've already got my 16 grand that I spent to buy 800 shares of it.
But I get what you're saying. That's what you did with Roku. For like a year or whatever when you started doing it, right? So why would I go that close to in the money if I want to use the leverage that I've been using? Because if it run up on me, I'm gonna lose that leverage because it's gonna get executed.
Right. I was just hypothetically saying that's what you can do. Mm-hmm. But I would suggest that you just keep going back in for at least what they got put to you for But the cost basis, I was just trying to have you all understand what the cost basis is if you wanted to take the money and go somewhere else. But if you want to use your leverage till you get 16 grand, then by all means, that's a strategy too. Just come out here and do it at 20. I just wanted to let you know that when people go in here and do this, that's why they doing it. They're saying, hey, they don't believe that the stock is going to go down below $17. They don't believe that. That's why they bought the stock, right? They don't want the stock to go down. Everybody wants stock to go up. But even if it doesn't go up, I just want you to feel comfortable about the money that you spent, because every time you collect some money, your cost basis goes south. Right. So you don't have to run or panic or be afraid to stick with something because you got 8 shares or 15 shares or 20 shares. You can stick with it, ride it out. You can ride this thing out until you just don't want it anymore. Or if you get 16 grand and you say, okay, I'm gonna cash out now and I'm gonna get my 16 plus the 16 I spent, now I got 32,000. That's what you can do, right? It's your right to do that. Like, you can ride that out and you can continue to leapfrog. Every Friday, I suggest everybody kind of take a look at what the buyback value is. And if it's worth moving it into the next week on that Friday, by all means, go ahead and make a move on it.
Yeah, I'd rather stay in this pocket, like very, very close to where it's trading, backing up $1 or $2.
Yep.
And just play it out for another week or two.
Yep. And Gerald, that's kind of like what I've done, right? And when I had lost money, this is how I kind of got back. This is how I would kind of keep track, because what happened was I would okay, my option trading value, I will always want to see that grow. So I didn't spend a dime out of that. Like where most people buy extra contracts, I kind of wanted to do it for my own mental psyche, because I didn't have anybody to really share anything with. So if I had, say, $5,000 in option trading value, I kind of wanted to take a stock and get double it by collecting premium all the time. And so once I had done that, then I was like, hey, I accomplished what I wanted. Now I'm off to the races. And then I knew what to do, right? I knew, I'll check it on Friday. Dennis will text me too and say, hey, it's getting close. And I'll just tell him, hey, let's wait. We had one hiccup. Me and Dennis both damn fell asleep on, I was sleeping. He was asleep. Dennis, what was that stock? Yeah.
CCL.
Yeah. Then Dennis, I told Dennis after that Friday, he said, damn, man, I fell asleep. And I said, shit, I was at the Lake of the Ozarks with mother-in-law. And I'm like, shit, I was laying up there asleep too. And the damn price ran past me and him both. I'm thinking, oh, damn. And I had set the alert, but it don't do you no good if you ain't woke to hear the damn thing. So we kind of got CCL snatched away from us, but CCL was another one I was hoping to just bag up on. And I'm not afraid to do it, right? Because I'm just collecting money. And that's the whole goal. I'm just sweeping it into the pan. But like I was saying, anybody would play kind of like in the driver's seat, because it went down. You kind of did that little $10 deal, and now you back up to kind of getting some good premium from it, and you kind of in the driver's seat. And the more you collect, like you only 16,000 invested, and that number is really lower because you got some at 19 and some at 20, but I just did the figure at 20 across the board. So, after, even if you did the strategy, G, say you don't buy nothing back, say you just let everything be, G and Jeanette, and you come here and Monday, it's at 80, you can still do 80 times 8, you know what I mean? And just sweep that into the pile that you've already collected, and no harm, no foul. The more money you collect, it doesn't really matter. Like, you just keep getting it though. And I just wanted everybody to kind of know when I talk about cost basis, you don't have to run. If you know what your cost basis is, you'll make a better choice. Like you will make a better decision. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood kind of when I talk about cost basis, you know, if Dennis, for example, I had Dennis do this. See, so I had Dennis buy in the money. I had Dennis buy in the money bond put. I mean, yeah, I had him sell a put in the money because this is the deal. If you do an in the money put, right, you're gonna collect. Say you did the 167, then it's gonna collect $1,155 when he do that. That means the stock got to drop when he get to the call side by that same amount. If it don't, then his cost basis is going to be way back here. Well, 167, you come to 157, Dennis can basically put those shares back on the market. So if you look at the following week, and he bought the 167 the previous week, he can come out here and put them back on the market at the same 167 and be done with it. He collected 1,100 on that side. He's going to collect 350 on this side. And even if the shares get called away, he made close to $1,500 in a 2-week period. Just for understanding what the process is, having the money to be able to execute, and then having the know-how of what these charts mean. And you got to have both of those in the same room in order for any of this to work.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
And like I said, and if you with a good company, the only company that I would run from would probably be, something that like Nikola, right? They scare me a little bit because they don't have a product on I can't physically go buy nothing from you. So you can't tell me that you're going to have a good earnings report when I can't physically make a purchase. You know what I mean? Like Apple is going to reveal a new phone here September. Here in September, I forgot what date it is, but the Apple 12 is coming out. Like they're gonna, like, Apple is gonna go back up, right? You have to second guess yourself. Don't outsmart yourself and be like, oh no. Well, just hold on to it. I promise you, Apple will be triple here before you know it. It's gonna run up just like Tesla and all those other big guys, Shopify and all those big companies. But I kind of wanted to talk about Play and CCL and American Airlines because everybody with small accounts, those are stocks that you can get in. Go ahead and get into the money. Don't be scared, and then just collect the premium. Just create your strategy, knowing that, hey, I got a small amount of cash, and when I do get some more money, I'll add to it, and then maybe I'll jump up to like a RCL or UAL or something like that. But these small accounts can grow because that's how I had to do it to fight my way back, was just get into some small accounts. But then I just started grabbing what I could, and then as those started to double, then I started to get into the bigger companies, and then from there I was just off and running. But I did want to touch on those two things, and I'll probably do it again next week when we get Tony on the call and Dana and a few of the others on the call. But definitely wanted to talk through that. If anybody, obviously during the week, if you got any questions about anything, but Play is something that I like. UAL is something that I like. CCL I like. Expedia I like. Boeing I love. And what else I got? Disney. Crap, getting dark early around here. All right. Let me see here. Shield. So Keith sent out something that I hope a lot of people did not miss. And Shield went from monthly to weekly, and that's a big deal for a lot of reasons. When those jump from monthly to weekly like that, there's so much volume that the SIBO feels the need to go weekly because there's just so much anticipation, so much volume, and that's a company that's actually sold some items. That's a company that's actually got contracts with major corporations to convert vehicles. That's a little bit of safer play for me than Nikola, but I like Shield, and I'm kind of getting the bug from talking with Tony and texting him about Workhorse. Workhorse, I think, is going to be a growth stock for sure. But I pretty much have been in, but this is only because of the growth. Is UAL, BA, RCL, Apple Heavy, and Shield. And when Keith sent that out today, I went in and got me a next week's contract right away because the price is up to what I saw about $50. So, and I got a leap. I got 2 leaps in a Workhorse. So combined, I got about 25 contracts total. But that's 5 years in the making, God willing, man. But we all can get there. I know we will. It's just a matter of just stay in the course, man. And then, you're gonna have those months where, you might get enough money where you get out of one thing and get into another, start spreading your money around a little bit more. But just take your time. Like there's no rush. It's not one of those things where you have to rush, really. It's just a week by week thing. You just keep living like you've been living, and collect you another $2, $3, $4, $5,000 on the side, and keep investing wise and say your prayers and eat your vegetables and take your vitamins, man. Be all right.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I got. I think that's all I got for today. Hold on. I have my little cards here from my conversations. And like I said, I did this, Gerald. I think you was out, but I keep my little cards for next week, right? So I kind of already know I'm a week ahead of what I want to anticipate doing, right? So I try to capture the moment to see what I was thinking, 7 days ago or 5 days ago. I kind of just write it down. And like I said, I got that one spot in the house where if I lay that down, I know it'll be there. Because I know when we first started out, I would sit in the backyard, I would sit in the basement. So I just said, I'm going to go to the bedroom because I got my little desk in here. And so everything I write down, I talk to you all about, and I talk to the other group about, I write it down, I leave it right here, and I pick it up. And so before the call, I kind of get my mind right of what I kind of want to structure the call to be. So, like I said, Keith, as you know, Dennis does it already, and Gerald and Jeanette already know if you need something during the week, you want to talk through a strategy or something that you may want to do, feel free, pretty open, during the day. This week and next week, I'm working from home, so I'll be able to talk to you anytime you call. Won't be in an office setting. So some exciting things coming up, though, and glad to see Uncle Gerald is okay. Kind of made me cry the other day, but I'm a man, Gerald. You can't do that. You can't make me cry no more, Gerald. I would have got my big brother, man.
Say it with your chest.
I would have got my big brother. Now, Gerald, you can't beat me. But yeah, man, it's a blessing, man. And I know a couple calls ago, I had everybody say a little prayer when we got off the call. Man, I know my wife been praying for you and everybody, and seems to everything's okay, man. Everybody just stay blessed. And if you need something, just text me or call me, or Keith, you got the other number, right?
Yeah, you finally gave me the real number.
The real number. Yeah. Yeah. But I hope everybody have a worthless expiration Friday.
Yeah.
May all your options expire worthless.
May all your options expire worthless. Yep.
Y'all, man. Take care.
All right, man. I'll chat with y'all later, man. Hey, go watch some football, man.
Good night, guys.
All right, good night.
Right.